I'm Jonny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things. Oh, so what's a prerequisite for a podcaster? Come on.
Saying guys is probably in there somewhere.
No, I mean important things, apart from talking about crypto. What else?
Talking about crypto and endorsing dubious car finance reclaim things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things. Probably, though, basically you need something with which to record your voice.
There you go, bullseye. Listeners, I've had a minor trauma this morning in that I moved house 3 days ago, and my life's in boxes. And I put the podcasting mic that we use for this podcast, of course, and to a degree of success, put it somewhere safe. Where did I put it? Who the hell knows? And I have found it because I'm recording on it. But how many hours late? How long have you been waiting for me? 2.5 hours?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Oh, what an absolute. But just to add insult to injury, because it was put in the wrong place, I had to drive back to my old house to check it wasn't still in there, because there was very few things left in there before I clean it all up and stop the rent. And I sped off in my Boxster, like a business middle-aged businessman. And as I was driving down the road, I went, "This car smells of turds." Well, I'd hurriedly opened the garage door to get the Boxster out. There you go. I'm going to admit it now. I've got my own garage again. Hurrah. I must have trodden in some cat pat, because my cat's just started using the cat flap. You know, when you have to move pets to new locations and be gentle with them. I must have stood in some cat pat, got straight in the Boxster, and then a few miles down the road when the heating starts to work, and I don't know. It's just suddenly it was like, something doesn't smell right in here. Was it in here before? Have I introduced it? And then, alas, when I got to the other house, I realised my poor Nikes had brought a load of feline Weetabix in, and it's just not cool. So I've got a bit of a cleaning up to do. I'm sure other people have done this. You must have done this, Rich. Come on.
I walked dog poo into the Mitsubishi Evo 10 long-term test car that I had from Evo years ago.
Oh.
At a point when my relationship with that car was, I would say, rather fractured.
An all-time low.
I didn't like that car very much. I thought that compared to previous Evos, it lacked some charm somehow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually that nice to drive unless you were going absolutely bananas. And so for the most part, just commuting in it and stuff, the ride was too hard, the interior was crap, the engine sounded horrible. I didn't get on with it at all. And then as a sort of crowning glory, I trod dog mess into it. And it was just like, I just remember going, well, this is just perfect, isn't it? I dislike this car and now it stinks of shit. It couldn't get any more bob on.
Oh,
and that's the last time I can remember such an incident, which was a long time ago now, so I should count my blessings. But
there must be other people who have done
you
this.
Found your mic, and the good news for many listeners is we're not on an aeroplane this week, because we had quite a lot of feedback about last week's episode, and quite a few people enjoyed it. It was something different. Quite a few people didn't. We've had so many messages about the noise that Airbus A320s make. I mean, I don't know where to start. What I'm going to do is just say the first person out of the blocks to explain what's going on there was one of our patrons, Robin Johnson. He said, it's the power transfer unit that makes the barking noise. It transfers hydraulic pressure from one of the systems to the other when there is a measurable pressure difference of 500 psi between the two. When the pressure drops, the PTU kicks in. It's located near the main landing gear, and that's why passengers can hear the noise seemingly coming from midway down the aisle under the floor. The barking happens most frequently at the gate and taxi, where most aircraft will run only one engine to save fuel. With one engine off, that engine doesn't provide the power to the pump to provide hydraulic pressure in one of the systems. The PTU balances that pressure between the two systems and goes on and off as it does so. Boeings have a different hydraulic setup and thus don't bark.
It is a strange sound. It's almost, I know you said it's like a dog bark, and a few people have called it a dog bark. In a way, it sounds a bit like a sped up tortoise mating sound, I want to say.
Somebody sent us a clip on Instagram of somebody very accurately replicating it by rubbing wet fingers on a shower glass shower screen.
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
It does also, to me, sound a little bit like sawing, like someone's just got a Black & Decker workmate in the belly of the plane and they're cutting into a bit of wood. But thank you to everybody, and there were loads who offered the same explanation. We've had pilots, we've had aviation engineers, and we've had just people who really like planes. So thank you all of you for the explanation. Also, I feel I should address this because we've had quite a lot of comments from people going, bloody hell, I'm glad I wasn't sat near you lot on that plane and you're just chatting shite and recording a podcast. The plane was really, really quiet. There was, I don't think that there were any people behind us for about 4 or 5 rows, and probably the same forward of us, and definitely no one across the aisle. It was desolate.
It was wonderful.
We had a cordon of safety to talk shite without. I think people maybe thought it was like there was a bloke in the middle seat and we were sort of reaching over him to chat nonsense. But no, we almost had the plane to ourselves, which is why we were able to record that podcast, for better or worse. But thanks for all the feedback, and thank you for all the info about why Airbuses make that noise. Oh, and also a lot of people corrected me and said there's an even smaller Airbus. The Sport Quattro A319 isn't the smallest one. There's a 318, which I'd forgotten about.
Yes, which was highly unsuccessful.
Yeah, a couple of people pointed out that actually they only made, I think, sort of 80 or 90 of them, and most of them have been scrapped now.
Yeah. What, because they can't justify their existence with such a small capacity? Or
I think, it's just too small to be useful. Also, some people pointed out, and I remember reading about this, that British Airways fitted out 1 or 2 of them with a full business class cabin, and they flew them from London City to New York.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, is it? I don't know. I mean,
can we get one and shorten it a bit more for homologation purposes? I'd really like.
How short do you want to go?
I'd like it so that behind the pilot's cabin, you can do 5 big steps before the wings start.
Oh,
yeah. So so basically 5 huge really steps from the toilet until the engines. I'd like that.
According to someone, sorry, I've not kept a record of this, but somebody did point out that they stopped. One of the reasons they stopped doing the A318 flights to New York is because obviously they were aimed at top city people who hadn't got time to go across London to Heathrow to get to New York, which is like a very specific level of importance.
First world.
Get me to New York, Marjorie. I haven't got time to go to Heathrow. Think of something else.
But I can get you there in 30 minutes. No, not enough time.
No. Well, that's it. So apparently one of the reasons that sort of undermined BA's plan, not being on a really tiny plane in full business class, but I think they said it was because the Elizabeth line opened and made it really quick to go east to west across London. And that would get you to Paddington, where you could jump on the Heathrow Express. And then you could get a big plane to New York from Heathrow. So they don't do it anymore. But also thank you to all of the excellent avio nerds who pointed out that the other quirk of the 318 is that it had the tallest tail of any of those planes in that A320 family, because it needed a bit of extra stability from being so short wheelbase.
Did it really? I'll tell you one other thing. I don't like to just keep looking backwards, but the other conversation we had was about my pod parking capsule at Terminal 5. Had a couple of people, again, because I've been so I've been so out of touch this morning searching for a microphone. I'm a little bit sweaty and disorganised. They said, you do know that those pods were made by Westfield Cars, don't you? And I didn't know this.
Oh. I didn't know this until you sent me that link.
Yeah, and this is what a great bit of boring car trivia for your next book. I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it?
In the last few days, I've had like loads of little nuggets of stuff for a possible future boring car trivia. It's been quite quiet on that front for a while, and then suddenly people have been sending me stuff again.
I think it's great that there we go. So Westfield make that, and if you're not based in the UK and you've got no idea what we're talking about, just look up Heathrow pod parking, POD, Terminal 5,
or follow James May on social media. He loves to put up footage of him in a pod whenever he's there.
There is a charm to it. It's sort of it's like going on a very old funfair ride with small children. So it clatters a bit and it's slow, but it's also friendly. Can
I just before we go any further as well, just to address another sort of bit of correspondence has been coming in. Basically, in the last week,
of course you can.
All of our emails have either been people explaining how the hydraulic system works on a small Airbus, or sending us a link to that Nissan Leaf hearse that's for sale at the moment. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have seen it.
And it's
it's 11 grand.
It's the fact that so many people saw it and immediately went, Smith and Sniff need to know about this. And I was like, I suppose we do, and we have seen it. I've seen it before because it's quite weird for people who haven't seen this. It hasn't been made into a hearse in the sort of accepted way that they stretch an old Jag or a Merc or something.
No, they've
just made it so that the coffin goes down the one side where the back seat and then the front passenger seat would be, and then they put a full glass side on it.
They have,
so you can see the coffin.
It's quite strange. It's not like that Mustang Mach-E hearse, which looks like they've extended the wheelbase by 7 feet. It looks so unbelievable. I'd love to have a go at it.
I see one of those around Bath all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, it's. I one of the funeral directors here must have got it, but yeah,
it looks like lazy. Thing. It's like a real world example of a quick Photoshop job. That's what's amazing. But so I keep rubbing my eyes and blinking, going, hang on, that can't look like that really. And then you go, no, it does look like that. That's what it looks like. There must be
clone marks on the bodywork somewhere where they've photoshopped.
That's right.
Well, there we go. Anyway, so thank you to everyone who shared the Leaf hearse link. It is deeply weird.
Yeah, it is. Before I don't want to talk much more about my disorganisation and that I've just moved house. But what I will say, out of bad always comes good. And this morning, whilst driving around in my cat shit smelling Boxster, what I did see is someone in the village, or the nearby village where I live, has got on their front garden a very interesting algal car, which I must go back to. There's a slightly algal, yellow, this makes it extremely 90s, Peugeot 406 Coupe.
Oh.
Yeah. In that yellow that always looks good on 90s cars, doesn't it? Corrados, BMW M3, E36s. It's that kind of yellow.
It's not mega custody, is it? It's sort of a little bit lighter than that. It's quite a light, almost sort of pastel yellow.
Yeah, this one's slightly UV damaged because it's obviously been sat in the same position for a while. Yeah, I'd very much like to de-algify it though. It looks great. The other thing I want to do is I want to shake my fist and wave it at the DVLA. Personal registrations, private regs.
Yeah.
Well, I've lost one that I've had for years and years on retention.
Oh.
I never got a chance to put it on the car that it's supposed to go on because that car's still not finished. And...
Can you say which one?
It's my Chevrolet Impala, my 64 Super Sport, which I bought this number plate for it 17 years ago, I think, or 16 years ago. And I've managed to renew its retention thing once. Amongst all of the bobbins going on with me trying to move house and all the stresses of that and trying to still continue working on for the YouTube person, I must have just let the letter slip, and when I came round to my pile of admin to do it, it had expired 10 days ago, And I tried to get hold of the DVLA, and they were just like, no, it's just gone. So you buy something, but you don't own it. I think that's bollocks.
Remember we talked a while ago about people essentially storing wealth in a high value private plate on a relatively low value car.
Yeah.
And ducking inheritance tax.
Yeah.
And part of that loophole, remember someone explained it to us in terms we could understand. Part of that loophole was the argument that you never actually own the number plate because the DVLA could revoke it at any time.
And have revoked it.
And in your case, they have.
They've taken it back. And
did I tell you about, just if we're bitching about the DVLA?
I'm so cross about it because I want it back. I paid good money for it. And I'd like to put it on that car at some point. I've even had the number plates made for it about 10 years ago. I want it back.
Where's it gone?
Well, I don't know. It's flying around on a Swansea computer. I don't know where it's gone.
In the ether.
But I want it back. And if anyone can help me get it back, I'm not, I'm not being held ransom by the DVLA. I've paid for it once. Don't piss around, please. Come on, guys. Listen, guys.
So my fairly recent DVLA woe was that when I bought my Metro Turbo, it had been with the same owner for so long that it had an old style V5.
I love those.
Yeah, they're quite nice, aren't they? But anyway, so I filled in the bits I needed to fill in and sent it off to get a new one issued in my name. And as far as I can work out, the DVLA just lost it. And I think it's probably because they just went, we don't recognise what this is. We haven't seen one of these for ages. Let's just throw it in the bin or drop it down the back of a filing cabinet or something. So when I contacted them and finally managed to get an answer, they just went, we have no record of that. I was like, for God's sake. So I had to do one of those forms where you then, get a new V5 issued in your name. And, thankfully I had all the details of the form owner and stuff. And so presumably that's somewhere on a system. So it all checked out. But the bit that irritated me was it said, please complete this form and send it back to us together with a cheque or postal order for £25.
Oh my gosh.
Like, a cheque? I was going around the house going, I can't think where I last saw my chequebook. And then I said to my wife, I was like, where are all the chequebooks? She went,
what?
We just cut them up and threw them away when we moved house, remember? Because
you burnt them all.
No one writes cheques anymore. I was like, well, that was 3.5 years ago, and we definitely haven't used chequebooks since then. So it's fine. I'll go to the post office and get a postal order.
Oh, my gosh.
So I put the form in an envelope. It's all addressed and everything is stamped and ready to go. I just need that postal order, tuck it in there. I went to the post office. Hello, I'd like a postal order for £25 made out to the DVLA, please. And they went, yes, certainly. You can only pay for postal orders with cash.
Oh, what?
I feel like I'm in 1954. What the merry frig is going on here? So I drove all the way home again. I got £25. We thankfully had some cash in the house. So I've got £25 in cash. Great. I'll go back. Hello, I'd like my postal order for £25 made out to the DVLA. Here's £25 in cash. And they went, the guy was really nice. And it's not his fault. This is just their way that
he
this
knows
works
it's idiotic, but he can't.
Yeah, he did. You could tell he was a bit embarrassed by the whole thing. But he went, but I mentioned before, which he had, there's a fee for the postal order, which I think was something like £2.50, thereabouts. Yeah. He went, well, that has to be paid in cash as well.
Oh, no.
I had to drive back home again and raid my children's piggy banks to get £2.50 in cash. Drive back, third time lucky. Please can I have my fucking postal order? And he did it, and I put it in the envelope, and I now finally have the V5 effing C for that car, which I own. But it wasn't without a bit of a fight. In fact, then I was really bored the other week, and just a little tune popped into my head, and I've written a whole song about working at the DVLA.
You've done
what?
I
don't really know what to do with it.
Rich, I worry about you.
I haven't recorded the vocals, so it's like it's not a finished song. But I was like, I might do the vocals, and then I'd give it to Gareth Jones for On Speed or something, because he plays songs out on that. We don't really do that, so it's not for us. But yeah, no, I wrote a little song about moving to Swansea and getting a job with the DVLA and basically being a lazy twat. One day I'll finish it.
There's that. I heard the other day people referring to that very well known video game Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And people refer to it as COD. Did you know this? I'm sure many of you do. And there was a big discussion about it. I can't remember why. I've played it maybe once at a nephew's house. But I woke up the other morning chuckling to myself. I suspect no one else is going to find this funny, but I thought, wouldn't it be great if someone could hack that game and make a different version for us car perverts called Call of Dutton, where you have to do, it's a POV game, and you have to fight your way through a town to usually knock on the door of quite a strange old man with a cluttered front door and driveway. And you've got to steal his Dutton, and you've got to get away in it. That's assuming it starts and runs, of course.
Yeah, well,
with 4 flat tyres.
I think game reviewers would speak very warmly of the quality of the rendering when it comes to all the wires hanging down below the dashboard, some of which you've sort of got to fiddle with a bit before the car will start.
Yeah.
Before the basically garden shed key that you put into a very exposed ignition barrel will turn correctly.
The seat is a bit damp when you sit in it, and water oozes out from it. And the guy's already said, "Oh, did you want a cup of tea?" And you said no, thanks, but he's brought one out to you, and it's got lumps of milk in it, and you go, "Oh no, can someone get me out of it?"
Put yogurt in tea. Yeah.
We're being nasty about Dutton people. I'm sure the Dutton crew are fantastic. We've been asked many times as Smith and Sniff if we can buy a Dutton as a company car. I think I've held fast on that one and gone, no.
Yes.
No, not for me.
Well, you know, we've got a Saab on our plate, haven't we? And then we've passed on that free X-Type that was mentioned the other week. I think somebody, a listener, is going to take that car.
It's going to save it, yeah. I saw that, which is great.
So that's good.
Yeah, and we've
not for us.
We've also been offered a free Alpha 159 of huge mileage. Yeah,
since when?
Came in last week. And I didn't tell you, and I didn't tell anybody, because I was trying to move house, and I thought, no, I'm not having. I think it's just enormous.
They tried to give me a free Alpha, and I said no. Well, maybe we should talk about this afterwards, because there's also that other free car that you were going to give me an update when they'd given you an update about the bran flake situation underneath it.
Oh gosh, I mean, it's lovely. It really is lovely.
Yeah, that other one is giving me a real pang. But
bran flaking. Oh, that one. Yes, I've just suddenly remembered which one.
Yeah, you just realised what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my light bulb's just gone off.
Talking sort of about cars, did I ever discuss in any detail about I had a week with the new Renault 4? You know, I'd said the other week that I'd borrowed a current Porsche Macan EV, and I was taken aback by the fact it had 6 mighty washer jets.
Yes.
That actually surprised me. Well, the bloody 4 has got 6 washer jets as well.
Has it really?
They're not quite as intense and sort of fire hosey as the ones on that Porsche, but it has got 6 washer jets.
No, but it's a quarter of the price, near as damn it, isn't it? So,
well, I know, that's the thing. It's sort of like there is a cost, albeit fairly small, but there's a cost to putting per washer jets. Surely it feels like that's a lot of washer jets for a fairly affordable car.
Why are we still redesigning washer jets? I don't understand. There are certain parts of car construction and engineering which if someone's just done it well, and we go, yeah, that's universally the best one. Remember the fan jets from a Volkswagen Passat? I think I first saw them on.
Yeah, and the Golf 4. They were
the Golf
sort of
4.
misty, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's the best one. I'd say it's the most efficient. So can everyone just adopt that as industry standard and just go, that's it? Can everyone stop redesigning jets and save your money, please?
But I wonder if they're very expensive, because that was sort of peak Volkswagen under Ferdinand Piëch, wasn't it, where he just wanted excellence in everything, and, you know, sometimes perhaps cost was secondary.
Yeah. That's true.
And I wonder if you're an accountant at Ford or somewhere, you just go, sorry, they're twice the price of the ones we use, and the customer benefit isn't twice as much, so no, piss off. Because I don't think Volkswagen fit them anymore, not to Golfs and stuff, do they?
No, but then, like you say, they've been on a cost-cutting mission, haven't they? But it's a shame when these are the sorts of things that I try and say to people who just want to keep buying new cars, or leasing them, or whatever you do with them, and saying, you do know that just getting a new one doesn't make it better. It doesn't mean that the car's fundamentally better. It doesn't even mean that it's more fault-free. It's just there are certain points, and I know other podcasters and automotive journos have been trying to discuss when was peak car. And the Mark IV Golf is probably around that period, actually, isn't it? Where you've got really amazing attention to detail and engineering and quality, QC, but not too tech-loaded that the car can have an absolute meltdown and be written off because of its electronics.
I was talking to someone about this yesterday because I was saying, talking about Golf GTIs, and I said, the 3 and the 4 Golf GTIs were generally thought to be not great, and then they pulled it back with the 5. But I was saying, I bet if you drove a Mark IV Golf GTI now, you'd think, that's quite a nice car, this. Not super sporty, but it's nice in other ways. And, that interior for its time was really good. Because I remember driving my brother's Golf 4 TDI 130.
Yeah.
It was an obsolete model at that point, but only just, I think. And I hadn't driven a Golf 4 for ages, and I remember just thinking, oh, yeah, this is all right, isn't it? This is actually, it is a pleasant car and a nice interior compared to what else was around at the time.
It just wasn't. It just didn't feel GTI-y.
No, it was a bit stodgy, wasn't it? Because I remember the first time I drove one, it was alongside a Peugeot 306 GTI 6, and the Golf just felt. It was incredibly boring. But funny enough, I was on a shoot for old Top Gear with TV's Jeremy Clarkson, and I remember chatting to him about it, and he went, I'm older than you, and I'd just take the Golf because the Peugeot's a bit frantic. And at the time I remember thinking, oh God, it's so boring, I can't believe Jeremy said that. But now, with age comes wisdom, I'm a bit like, oh, I kind of see what he meant. I mean, I'd still take the Peugeot because they're freaking great. But,
me too.
But yes, I get it. The Golf was a deeply sort of nice car. That 4, speaking of the Renault 4, is a nice car, and
it is.
I like the fact that I could actually get my children in the back, which the 5 I thought was a bit of a struggle, but then the trade-off is I don't think the 4 has the superstar looks of the 5. It's nice looking.
No, it doesn't have it doesn't stop people in their tracks, and it's not a talking point like the 5 seems to have the star quality, does it?
Do you find in your Renault 5 that gear selector on the column doesn't always engage as you would think it's going to?
Yeah, I do the triple tap when I get in it. So I get in it, and I've probably done it. We've used the sound effect before on the podcast, haven't we? Where it sounds like Silent Times by Prince.
Yeah.
So I get in it, foot on the brake, press the on button, and as I'm pressing the on button, the right hand is doing 3 grabs down to the floor of the shifter to put it in D. It's not dawdly when you're going from drive to reverse, say, manoeuvring out of a car parking space, because some EVs are, and that's infuriating, especially when there's somebody driving at you and you're trying to do a 3-pointer. But it is. It's not quite as intuitive as others, and I'm used to the fact it doesn't have park now. I'm used to that. But
that, yes, I realise you do get used to that, but the inconsistency of that column thing that just doesn't always 100% do what you've asked it to do, and I reversed somewhere and then dinked it to go into drive, and it didn't go into drive.
I reversed somewhere, make it sound like you went somewhere. I went to Bournemouth.
I reversed to Daventry and back. No, I just reversed out of space or something. So, but there was I reversed up to another car quite close, thought I'd gone into drive, and I was about to step on it to drive away, and thank God I didn't, because in fact it was still in reverse, and I would have just reversed into another car.
Oh, that's
it was the fact that I just noticed in time, but it was a bit shit. So otherwise, I think it's quite a nice car. I still has the other thing I don't like about the 5 is I think the steering is a bit wispy, and the 4 has the same problem. It just feels very artificial, and there's not enough weight to it for some reason. But otherwise, nice rides, nice interior. I like the way it looks.
I tell you what reminds me of how much fun the Renault 5 is when I go from my Tesla S back into the 5. The 5 feels like a puppy that just wants to play, and the Model S, though comfortable and refined. Just feels like a sort of older dog that just wants to do corners and things just a little bit slower. It's got more power ultimately, but you almost don't want to use it because you know that it weighs 17 tons and it's just not going to be that much fun on the tyres.
It's like my dog now, bless her, because she's old. And sometimes, when she was younger, you'd come in through the front door and she'd bound to her feet and she'd be there, tail wagging, tongue hanging out, happy to see you. Now sometimes she just can't be arsed. Just like, no, it's you. Hi. Just lying there on the rug. Bless her. I was looking at my notes that I keep in my phone of things that I want to discuss with you, and I've got something written in here which is absolutely mysterious to me. It's not since the days of fizzy yoghurt have I had something that's been there for a few weeks, and I cannot figure it out, and I feel like it might be something you said to me.
To write down.
And said, write this down so I don't forget it, and I did, and it's mysterious now because I forget. What it says is Never Ending Disco 2. Does this ring any bells?
No, it doesn't. Never Ending Disco 2.
So I assume Discovery 2.
Well, yeah,
would be.
But why is it never ending?
Oh God, I was really hoping that you were going to go. Oh yes, I know what I was saying.
I want to.
Dear.
It's making me think about my recent observations that I've had, but I haven't thought about. Did you? It's not to do with the Discovery 2. Did you see the Hyundai Concept 3 quite recently? Called it uses all the Pixel design language. It's a really good looking car. I think Hyundai just can continue to just smash them out of the park. They all look so interesting, but also underlined with such practicality when it comes to the road cars.
It's a very nice looking car. Quite a hint of the old Veloster about it.
Yeah,
I thought.
Veloster. Yeah.
But with then also there was some angles. I sort of thought that the back just very slightly reminded me. I might be talking shite here of like the old Chevy Volt.
Oh yeah. Well, we all know that the Chevy Volt's just fantastic, and I'd have one again at the drop of a hat on that side of things.
I'm not totally sold on every single thing that Hyundai has done recently, but what I do like is that they have a certain amount of confidence about them. It feels like their design department is really sort of firing on all cylinders. It's just, they are very bold and confident, and you can imagine sort of knowing a little bit about how car designs have to sort of get through layers of management in any large corporation.
Yeah.
That the thought that they must have some very good design bosses there. Well, actually, there's a guy called Simon Loseby, who's a British guy, who is, I think, second in charge there at Hyundai Kia Design, maybe just Hyundai. Lovely guy, and I presume he has to spend a lot of time standing in rooms with a load of suits going, this is what we want to do, and they're like, but what about, no, I don't care, we're going to do this because it's going to be right for what we want to do.
I reckon that it's good to see that confidence, but it's not cocaine-y confidence, which I think is what BMW's got right now, where I was followed around by an illuminating big grille piece of shit the other day, and just made me really angry. I mean, I don't like being followed by BMWs anyway, because they tend to be very, very close. They're invading your personal space, just like someone coked off their face in a bar who will stand really close to you and just talk unwanted bollocks really, really close to you. It's exactly the same, but in automotive terms.
That's it. I do wonder how those management review sessions go in that company. I do wonder how they go in Mercedes sometimes as well. I don't know whether there's just a sort of misplaced trust, or if there's some kind of crazy mind tricks that the design bosses are playing, going, this is the car we want to make, and they'll go, but it's disgusting. No, it's not, you're mistaken.
I'd like Mercedes to build boxy cars again, but like slightly aero considered but ultimately boxy cars again. I think if Merc did that thing like the Hyundai N74 concept coupe thing, they took the language, and what was that other Hyundai, the Grandeur, the Concept.
Yeah.
The Grandeur Concept.
They did the old Grandeur, didn't they?
Yeah, they did that old Grandeur, but revived. Imagine if Mercedes said, we're going to do a 190E again, kind of like that.
I always think Mercedes' relationship with the past is interesting, isn't it? Because it's, on the one hand, you think they're quite a forward-looking, tech-driven company, but they do lean on the past in weird and random ways, so they sort of hark back to an old 300 SL or something like that. But then they put that weird pontoon back wing on the E-Class a couple of generations ago.
Yeah.
And then realised it looked toss and took it off at the facelift, which must have cost a frigging fortune to do new pressings. But that's their sort of, they occasionally do dabble in their own past, but they sometimes pick the wrong bits.
They do pick the wrong, I think you're right. They pick the wrong bits to head back to. And they've got such a good nostalgia. I mean, bloody hell, they invented the car, for crying out loud.
But they did the that thing last week. They showed off the Vision Iconic, which is this sort of huge Cruella de Vil kind of coupe.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's got one hell of a profile because the front wheels are... I mean, they're the opposite of your proposed cut-down Airbus A380 because it's about 10 steps from the front axle to where the cabin starts. It's really exaggerated. And I kind of like, but then it feels like a sort of some kind of crazy CGI rendering of that someone's just done online.
It does.
It is quite retro, and the interior is ridiculously retro. It's got a 4-spoke wheel, but where the 4 spokes aren't, it's sort of, they're just an X. It's like a big X, and it's like an old car.
Oh, really? What, like a ship's wheel?
Kind of, yeah. The whole interior is sort of a bit Art Deco-y and definitely very, very retro and backward looking.
Because when someone asked me,
it's kind of good, but I don't know. There's something I don't like about it. I can't put my finger on what.
I think the issue for me with that, we're in danger of getting car chatty again in this podcast. But look, hey, listen, I think it's worth mentioning. Like the Jag design that's upset everybody.
Yeah.
That car is an interesting car, and I like the shape, but it's not right for an electric car. Because there's no point in having a huge bonneted electric car. It's a total waste of space and purpose. If it was V8, V12, big piston, fire-breathing thing, and the same with this Cruella de Vil thing. Do you remember the Maybach Excelero?
Yes.
Which is one of my favourite concept cars of all time. Just think it looks so mad and angry.
Yeah, this new Merc. That was one of my first thoughts when I saw it. I was like, oh, they've been here before.
Yes.
And in terms of proportions and that sort of, we're just going to do a really over-the-top dramatic coupe, it's the Maybach Excelero rethought. But the thing about the Jag, I totally agree with you. I can't remember if we talked about this in the podcast, but if the production version of that Jaguar, which from the spy photos is clearly going to have the same proportions, if it doesn't have a huge boot under that bonnet, ideally side hinged bonnet as well.
Oh yes,
like a piano.
Yes, like a pre-war car.
Then I'm going to be disappointed because you're right. There's a lot of bonnet there that's not serving any purpose on an EV. So I hope they've found a purpose for it.
Yeah, if they change the game by saying we've got all of the boot space in the front, and the back doesn't have any to speak of, but the front boot space is enormous, and it hinges up like a pre-war sort of Art Deco grandeur car. That would be really interesting, and I would forgive it for that. But that kind of shaped
what if
car,
it's scissored upwards like one of those car lifts? So or the boot lid on a Honda Civic Del Sol, it goes up entirely horizontally. And you put things in that way.
That would be okay. Do you know why? Because if you're trying to get stuff out of the boot outside the hotel and it's pissing with rain, it still protects what's inside, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. There you go. That's what they should do.
I'm kind of down with it. So I like that kind of shaped car because I'm a big fan of huge, boxy saloons and coupes and things. But when it comes to EV propulsion, it doesn't really stack up for me.
But I like the Jag more than the Merc because although they are both these sort of slightly exaggerated coupes, at least the Jaguar is trying to be modern and the Mercedes is sort of looking over its shoulder. And I'm just sort of wondering what point they're trying to make. But because it's electric, so it's like, again, it's like, well, you've given it the proportions of a, sort of car with a V16 from the 1930s.
Yeah, that's right.
Why? Anyway, did I tell you as well? I still haven't, because I did that podcast on my own when you were away, trying to hunt down the prototypes of the new Jag, and I still haven't seen one on the road, and we get quite regular messages from listeners who live in the Midlands particularly, so I just saw a new Jag. But I was standing on a street in a little village not far from Gaydon the other week after I'd done that evening at the museum. The next morning I went to meet a mate of ours for a coffee, and then we were standing in the street and the new all-electric Range Rover Velar prototype of that went past, which has been papped a lot with a very elaborate disguise on it that puts this big fake boxy back end on it, and it sort of seems to be quite well established. It's actually going to be quite fast back. This one drove past, no boxy thing on the back. You could see it was very fast back, and I just stood there and gawped at it and suddenly went, oh shit, that could have been a genuine scoop there if I just got my phone out and taken a picture.
You savoured the moment, Rich.
Well, I did. I lived in the moment. It's like, I'd rather than be one of those people at gigs who films the whole thing extremely badly. Like, I was wondering if they're ever going to watch that back.
I experienced that quite recently. I wasn't sure whether to bring it up in this podcast.
What, people filming gigs?
Someone sat in front of me was filming every song for the length of the song. I would say. So their phone must have been steaming at the end of a 2-hour gig.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? And your arm had hurt. And you've not watched the gig because you've been too busy being the world's worst camera person. And it's like...
But also the guy, he kept zooming in so tightly on the lead singer that because he had wobbly arms and because his girlfriend or wife was absolutely pissed on Lady Petrol, they brought in 2 bottles of chilled wine and she just sculled them. She was leaning on his shoulder and singing along to the big songs, and he was on full zoom, and I was so cross about it. I nearly went, you're never going to watch this back, it's unusable shit, and you've just filled your phone with 2 terabytes of bollocks. You need to just stop that, man, and just listen to the music and watch the band play, who were fantastic. I'm not going to tell you who they are because everyone will laugh at me.
Because I know who it is. I just realised.
Do you think I should admit it or not?
I mean, I would understand why you might not want to, because then you're going to have to explain yourself.
Yeah, okay. I did have
or you just say who it is, and then we move on, and everyone can just,
No, I'm not. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it hanging. All right. I've just decided that.
Since we're moaning about things in the modern world, I was saying to you before we started recording, when did all businesses get so needy? I stayed in a Premier Inn the other night when I was away on a job, and I just had an email from them that said, how did we do? And I'm like, you gave me a bed and a shower and I didn't get murdered. You did fine. I haven't got time to do a frigging survey about how you did. You did fine.
Yeah.
If you didn't do fine, maybe I'd let you know. But, you're doing a bang-up job, but I cannot sit there and go, and then the reception was clean and the lift worked brilliant. It's just like, no. It happens so much. You just go and buy a block of cheese from a supermarket and then you get an email going, how did we do? It wasn't poisoned, so I'm going to say, fine.
I've had this a lot, but my nemesis is when they follow it up with, if you could give us your feedback, just simply download the app and you can feed it in through that. And you go, why? Why am I going to do that? Well, I'm downloading an app to say that I think your service was pretty okay. Or, hey, do you want to check in for your flight? It's really easy when you download the app. No, I don't want to download the app because I fly with you once a year and that's just another app on my phone. No, I'm not going to do it. Stop making me.
I love how app agnostic you are, because I'm
precious about my app use.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. But I feel like we've turned into an episode of Grumpy Old Men. Something that happened to me the other night, which I thought was delightful, is that I got into a minicab, pre-booked through an app, but a minicab. And, you get into these, and the driver went, Richard? And I said, yeah. And he confirmed where I was going. I said, yes, please. And then he turned to face forwards and start driving the car with the words, shall we?
Oh, great.
And then we drove off, and I thought, it feels quite old-fashioned, but rather delightful.
And then did he
engage? Know what to say.
Did he engage launch control straight after saying
yes.
that? And then just
no, it was a Prius. He drove in a very safe and stately manner, which was sort of felt appropriate from someone who starts the journey by going, "Shall we?
Okay.
Would you care to dance?" Well, I don't mind if I do. So I thought it was lovely.
Forgive me if I've mentioned this before, but a bit weary for the last week of moving house and all that stuff. Did I talk about the fact that I find it confusing that sports cars don't have sport written on them, but non-sporty cars increasingly have sport written on them?
Yes, and vans as well sometimes.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of sport vans. The Renault Traffic has a Spoet.
It's the Renault Traffic, isn't it? Yeah,
and I think Vauxhall do a Spoet thing as well.
Oh, yes, it's the same van, isn't it? So, but I don't know why, because it renders the word sport meaningless, really.
Well, Range Rover Sport killed that, my friend. I think.
Yes.
Spoets.
Well, remember the time when the first Range Rover Sport came out, it was actually sort of surprisingly dynamic. There'd never been a Range Rover that drove like that, and it was actually quite surprising.
Spots.
But, it's a relative thing, isn't it?
Relative sport. I would quite like that written on the side of the car.
Yeah, but there's no the Ferrari didn't announce that new Testarossa and then go, actually we're going to call it the Testarossa Sport, because it's implicit that it's a sports car, so there's no need.
You are right. I quite like that.
Maybe they should just stick van on the end of it just to be ironic. Take that, Renault. Yeah, you've got sport. We got your word now.
We've got the Ferrari van.
It's not actually a van. Yeah,
I'd kind of like that.
Well. One to consider for the future. I still can't work out. I'm just looking at my notes, and I still can't work out what Never Ending Disco 2 might be about.
Never Ending Disco 2, yeah.
I had actually, since we were talking about Hyundai very briefly there, I've forgotten something I saw a few weeks ago. I was on the M6 motorway, and I saw a Hyundai XG30.
Oh gosh, I love them. I nearly bought one once.
Yes. Did you?
Yeah, I did, because it was so little money and it was real C-spec, well-worshipped condition. And I think they're a big Cobra head contender, are they not?
Yes, I think they are. And they have those big flat wheel trims on the early ones. They do. They're alloys, aren't they?
They do.
And then they put some different wheels on it later on and ruined it, as far as I was concerned. They should have just embraced that sort of Aldi Cadillac that they had going on.
I could see you and I one day pulling the trigger on one of those.
Well, yeah. I mean, you say you've almost bought one. I've definitely, when they were as probably as cheap as they were ever going to get, I definitely brized them when you could still sort of find a few for sale and thought, maybe...
I'm talking full service history for less than 600 sheets. That's what I'm talking.
Is it Britain's first and possibly only car to have a mini disc player as standard?
Oh, the Korean Cadillac. That's what I used to call it. I absolutely love it. Damn it, you got me thinking again. Instead of unpacking my life in a house, I might look up XG.
Just go and buy an XG30. Live out of boxes, but you've got an XG30. Anyway, I saw one, because you don't see them around very much, but I saw one on the M6, and when I came alongside it, because I wanted... when you see an interesting car and you really want to then sort of clock the driver, just to sort of...
100%.
Who's driving this? Who's got this going on?
Yeah.
And it was being driven by a man who was sitting very, very far forward, where it's like the seat backrest was over centre.
Oh no, not over centre.
Flipped forward. It just went. I can never understand why people drive like that, but particularly in a very soft, relaxing car like that, it just baffled me.
It's punishing.
It raised so many questions that could not be answered because we were on a motorway. But yeah, it was a nice thing to see. There's actually, I've just looked, there's none on Auto Trader at the moment.
There's none.
So that's none.
Oh, I wonder if Hyundai UK have got one that we could just borrow for a week just to quench my thirst. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's just see.
I'd quite like to know. Hyundai UK do listen to this podcast. We have proof. Listen, guys. Listen. If you've got one as part of your heritage collection, can you let us know? And if you want one, can I be the person that helps to buy one? Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. I can't see any for sale. Anyway, well, that's. I'm sure we'll come back to this at some point. Anyway, we should wrap this up. But before we go, 3 things to share with you. The first is that Jonny's developing a new TV show in which he forces the former lead singer of Marillion to modify cars in a way that your parents would recognise under the working title Fish Soups. If that's not to your taste, we're scraping the barrel now.
Awful.
That's
that's
not
awful.
To your taste, I know.
Really awful.
We'll retire this soon, I think. There's always the Late Break Show, of course, because that's real and exists. And what's on there at the moment?
Oh, Richard. What's on there at the moment?
An intensive video in which you get cat mess out of floor mats in a Porsche Boxster.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. So, I'm not getting cat pat out of the really nice original Boxster mats, which my friend Paul Francis sent me. It is, unless the schedule has changed. I drive and go and see, because it's for sale, what is claimed to be the world's highest mileage Ferrari.
Oh, yes.
So I donned I'm not going to tell you what the car was, but let's just say I donned my best Hawaiian shirt and went to view and drive this car. And I didn't need any special effects in order to make the sunroof disappear. But yeah.
I mean, the special effects, 2 people from the crew standing behind the car to catch the Targa roof, as I always suspect it must be.
As I frisbee it behind me, yeah. Yes,
good.
So
okay.
there's that.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and if you don't want to watch that, I mean, we've just done a really nice Honda Civic barn find that was just such a survivor.
Oh, yes, I haven't watched that yet. I'm going to soon. Okay, second thing I wanted to tell you is a new live show. We are back doing some what do we call them? Otlots.
Otlots,
on that live of things, don't we?
Yeah.
Should know our.
You don't know the name of your own live show, Richard?
I don't. Well, it's so long since we've done one because we had a nice summer sort of dandering about Goodwood and Festival of the Unexceptional and Pistonhead's annual service, but we are back now to doing our own live shows, and our next one is going to be on Wednesday, the 19th of November, at Great Northern Classics in Derby, which it delights us to say is basically near Nottingham. So tickets are on sale for that now. Go to smithandsniff.com. You can find a link there, and we'll hope to see you on the 19th of November. Also, it's worth mentioning that I've got my new book out. It's called Petrolhead on Amazon or smithandsniff.com merch shop. There'll be copies in there soon as well if you'd like to buy it direct from us. And the third thing I wanted to share with you is actually something that a listener called Steve tipped me off about, which is he heard us mention Top Gun last week. Yeah. And how I said that some of the dialogue was surprisingly clunky on rewatching it, particularly between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis in the romance part. But Steve pointed out that actually a lot of that romance stuff was shot after the film had initially been completed because test audiences felt that there should be a bit more of a sort of emotional subplot within the film.
Really?
Yeah, so I looked this up. That famous sex scene in the shadows was done like that because Kelly McGillis had changed the colour of her hair for a different role, and there's a scene in a lift where apparently she's wearing a cap, and again, it's to hide her hair.
She is wearing a cap, yes.
And there's bits of Tom Cruise's hair is slightly different as well, and they had to sort of disguise that because they went back and they shot new scenes to bolster the romantic subplot between Kelly McGillis' character and Tom Cruise.
I'm really glad that Tom Cruise wasn't filming a different role which involved him having to wet shave his eyebrows off and or anything like that, because that would have been interesting. But it's funny, isn't it? So out of necessity, that iconic sex scene that's just silhouettes is one of the most memorable parts of the film for some people. With the was it with the backdrop Venetian blind? I want to say it's a Venetian blind.
I don't know. I thought it was just a window, and it's a bit it's quite tonguey, I think, isn't it?
I think it's quite tonguey, Rich. But thanks.
Steve said that it wasn't even Kelly McGillis doing that bit because she wasn't available. But other things I've looked at say that it was her, but that it was in silhouette to hide the fact she dyed her hair a different colour. Also, some claim that that scene was also partly created because the producers had heard the final version of Take My Breath Away and thought that it needed an appropriate scene to go with the music. So I don't know. I didn't have time to read up the whole backstory.
This stuff's really interesting, Rich.
That's
it's made me feel, and it's really relaxed me as I stop recording this podcast and try and get the plop out of my Boxster. Which is what I'm going to have to do. I can't leave it there, can I?
The Porsche Plopster.
Just awful.
Okay, well, anyway, that's probably.
But thanks, everybody. I just want to say
thanks
to everybody that listens to us and on whatever platforms they do it and contacts us and supports us via Patreon or via merch purchasing or live show purchasing, because we get lots of people saying that for some reason our podcast lifts their mood or has helped them through a difficult time. And actually, one of those people is me, in a weird way. So, I didn't want to get too kind of emotional about it, but it has. So thanks, Rich, and thanks, listeners.
Thanks, mate. Well, thanks, everybody. If you've got anything you want to say to us, hello@smithandsniff.com, as ever, and we'll do this all again next week. But until then, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.
So you've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon, what wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise, we've mugs and hats but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Believe I got a Hyundai XG30, looks shit, but seriously, faster than anything I've ever been in, goes around corners like it's attached to the road with ropes and magnets and shit. You wouldn't believe it.